Welcome to Savvy Broadcasting Life Unscripted with your host, Christina Rivera. Our guests today are Tracy Zboril and Cara, Hewett, sharing their latest book, The Soul Happy Technique. There's an alternative to traditional psychotherapy. Find out more and get a copy of their book at thesoulhappy.com. Hello, Tracy and Cara. Welcome to Savvy Broadcasting Life Unscripted. We're so grateful to have you here today. You are going to talk about something very important. We've had a couple of psychotherapists on in the past talking about different subjects of psychoanalytics and whatever, but you're going to talk about your new book, and you're going to talk about something that's a little different than traditional therapy called The Soul Happy Book. Reprogram your mind using groundbreaking techniques, bringing science and spirituality. I like that because you're bridging them. And I kind of find that when you bridge just the mind, body, spirit, you can make the greatest impact with your patients. So welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, you betcha. So tell me, both of you, share a little bit. I'll start with Cara first. A little bit about your background. What brought you into psychotherapy and helping patients with psychology?
I guess I started late 80s, and the field of psychology have always been very attracted to the field of psychology in general, and just felt like that was a natural fit for me. Went through some career paths that weren't necessarily related to counseling, but that's where I ended up, I would say. And so in the let's see now, what is it? So approximately 20 years ago, I went into the field of counseling, and found it very, at first particularly found it very interesting and very challenging in many ways. And fast forward to one thing I would say that was present among my counseling career is it was almost like inside of me, I almost think of it as kind of like a tension, because I always felt like there was more to there was more to what I was doing than what I was trained in terms of talk therapy versus other forms of therapy. So that's when I met Tracy in a training, and we ended up working together, and we have been now for going on 5 years. And Tracy will tell you more about where we've kind of ended up.
Yeah. Well, tell me, Tracy, how did you enter the world, the universe of psychology?
So I've been in the field since the 80s, and I was trained in a real true traditional, actually like psychoanalytic program. And that is just kind of what we knew, and kind of like Cara was saying, those are the tools that we had. And so you did the best you could, but that psychoanalytic process can be pretty drawn out and quite painful, not to mention pretty expensive as well. And then you'll see results, and you'll be excited for people, and then those results aren't often real sustainable. So kind of like Cara, I just felt like there had to be a better way out there. And we both just kind of went on this quest to see what else we could utilize to just make this a more efficient process for clients. And where Cara and I met was actually in a hypnotherapy training. We had both just kind of embarked on that, thinking, well, they're getting a lot of results for things like smoking cessation, weight loss. And I started thinking, I wonder if there's a place there for behavioral changes, actual, mood disorders, and just kind of trying to understand in helping people work through their pain, could that be helpful? And truly, the more we started looking into stuff, it was a crazy revelation to realize that there were also all these changes or breakthroughs in neuroscience or brain science, and how our memories are stored and processed. So the more we started learning, the more we thought, okay, there's something here. And when Cara and I, we realized that we were like-minded folks. And when we embarked down this journey together, we just started practicing these various ways of assisting people, and we came up with a sequence, and it involves a variety of really what's kind of cool is it's different modalities, some which have been around for a while, some of which the more recent breakthroughs in science now back up why they work, so that it makes them even more kind of understandable. And then there's even, like, we've thrown in some old ancient teachings as well, and it's all kind of combined into what we find to be a much more effective process.
Wow. You know what I've always found interesting is that talk therapy. I think if, for myself, I've taken gone to a psychotherapist. What I found is that I'm just talking, and who knows if I'm not connected with my subconscious, if I'm really pulling out everything I need to, because you're just getting out what I'm giving you. How do you get deeper than that? And I could see why it takes a while. What have you found is some of the things that psychology or psychologists miss in that process, the traditional process, as opposed to your new process, which is deeper?
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say that our training in the subconscious mind, of course, we've both been trained a long time ago. We can't speak for now the programs, the graduate programs in this field, but 20 years ago, we really didn't embark on the subconscious mind. That was more a Freudian concept that of course, that's very, very old school thinking, is Freudian, although that's still somewhat around. Psychoanalysts are still in practice, but for the most part, I would say that they moved away from, talk therapy moved away from the importance of the subconscious mind and what that meant. So I would say that the biggest difference now is the understanding of what that means, and I think that's probably the best explanation for it.
I mean, Christina, it was like as if at one point, I mean, I'll never forget, we were sitting out on my patio. Cara and I were just collaborating together. We were sitting out on my patio, and we literally had this aha moment of, oh my God, have us therapists been dealing with the wrong part of the mind all these years? Now we know you can go directly to where the memories are stored. We now know how they're stored. Memories are stored in the form of energy. We now understand through these various energetic exercises that you can scramble up the energetic way in which they're stored, the energetic frequency. So like, well, holy crap, why wouldn't we just go right there, deal with, it's like go right to the horse's mouth, or how do you say that? Whatever that phrase is. And, it's refreshing after decades in a field to find something that's so much more powerful.
Yeah, I totally get you, Tracy. Now, when your book, can someone buy the book and actually kind of work themselves through the exercises, or do they need a master to help them go through it like you guys? How is it set up?
We struggled with that because we really wanted to get, and we tried, writing this book over a course of a year, we really tried to figure out how can we best guide people, and first of all, the education of these, what Tracy referred to as these energetic exercises. It's not something you can really do with yourself.
Not while you're reading, Christina.
Not while you're reading.
You're reading the book. It's hard to put yourself into, first of all, the right kind of brainwave state in order to access the subconscious. We felt that people might get frustrated because it might not be as effective. And so really the book is a little bit more of a educational piece, the theories behind how it works. And unfortunately, really you gotta be directed in order to really truly get into the right frame of mind to really access what you need to be doing.
Makes sense. Now, what do you think about the possibility of groups getting together and doing it together? Should they have one master at the helm, or could a group of people work together and say, hey, here are the techniques, let's work together? Or is it kind of the blind leading the blind?
I think, okay, so it's still just new enough and evolving that Cara and I do foresee, wow, first of all, I had never thought of the way you just said it, Christina, that maybe groups could get together and assist each other if they've felt pretty educated in the process. Really, why couldn't that happen? I mean, there's all kinds of options and possibilities down the road. I do think one of the possibilities is Cara and I running a group, like if we were doing a seminar, and we were, at the front of the room, and we could run the group through various exercises. That absolutely can happen. We did kind of a small version of that. It was a large group, though. We were at a conference, Orlando Women's Conference recently, and we did do some of the exercises more as a demonstration, and people, we got great feedback. I think people found it actually kind of more helpful than just a simple demonstration.
Absolutely. You know what this reminds me of, guys? And I did this a number of years ago. I went, and I didn't know this was going to have any psychoanalytical part to it, but there was a guy who did something in the UK where he kind of melded together spiritual exercises and psychology. And I don't remember the name of the place he went to, but he was really young. He was in his mid-20s. But what I found interesting about it is that it really got us, we were in a group and we did some exercises, and they were so impactful because we weren't just coming at it from just a psychology perspective, but we were coming at it, we danced, we moved, we did psychology, we kind of melded all the mind, body, spirit together. And at the end of the weekend, it was really impactful. I learned some things about myself I had never learned before. But this isn't a one-step process. It isn't like you go to one exercise, ooh, I got it all my problems are resolved and I get me. It's a little bit longer journey, isn't it?
It is. And I think what, Tracy and I, what we developed, like she mentioned before, we looked at other, older understandings of energy and how energy can be moved. And speaking of, you're talking about the group dynamic. Yeah, that's a powerful thing that happens when you're in a group situation like that. It's just, again, we're always talking about energy. Mm-hmm. And so when you have group energy moving for the good of the whole, I think that's a very, very powerful thing. In terms of energy for what the work that we've been doing, what we realized is that when you utilize energy to break up or dissipate emotional blockages, then something happens there, that there's a shift that takes place. Mm-hmm. And we have found that, through that shift can be so profound. And yet talk therapy doesn't quite, that could take months, years, possibly, if at all, because what you're dealing with in talk therapy is the conscious mind. So you've got the subconscious and then you've got the conscious mind. Well, the conscious mind is that, that's the aware, you're always aware, you're always analyzing things. That's where the critical mind, that little critical person that all of us have inside going, oh, you're not all that, or, you're not who you think you are. That's that conscious mind coming into play. So Tracy and I really realized that when we are addressing the subconscious mind, that shift can happen dramatically. Mm-hmm. And so why wouldn't we? It's almost as though when we learn that as psychotherapists, we learn, how can we go back to our private practices now and practice anything but what we've known, what we just learned.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me, guys, do you have planned specific group upcoming events or workshops? Because this would be awesome. I would love to join it.
Yeah, go ahead, Tracy.
Well, so interestingly enough, like literally just yesterday, we have embarked on this little journey with a wellness community here locally that wants us to start doing monthly. We'll kind of be their mental wellness pop-up go-to folks. And we're going to do once a month where we do, address what it is that we do, how we help people kind of clear up their negative baggage, how we help reprogram positivity to assist with, increasing people's confidence. So it's, and it happens to be in this community, we're probably gearing it a little more towards women. So it's kind of like a women's empowerment type of thing. And, we're going to serve some wine and cheese and just make it a kind of a fun, but also effective, actually have some impact on these women moving forward. So that's one example of what we're going to try to do. And then we may do some webinars or do some of that more online to reach a wider audience, for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, please keep me tuned in, and our audience, let us know. We'd love to tune in. I love to grow, and it never ends. I find like whatever you've learned now in your life, there's always more, what do you call it? Layers of the onion to peel back and to learn even more about yourself.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm so grateful you both were able to come here today. Everyone can go to the soulhappy.com, correct?
Right. That's right. Soulhappy.com. SOUL happy.com.
That's right. And then get your book there as well?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Well, or on Amazon.
Yay. Well, guys, I have to thank you so much for coming, Tracy and Cara, to share your great wisdom today on Savvy Broadcasting. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina.
If you like this episode, please share. To hear more Savvy episodes and Savvy Biz tips, go to lifeunscriptedradio.com. To become a guest or participate in paid sponsorship, email us at christina@lifeunscriptedradio.com.